Greetings my fans, this time I want to review one of the Gunpla from my favorite mobile suit. It would be a shame if you miss this Gunpla with a very charming design. So let's do it, with us, Alice Kingdom. So this is the appearance of the box with the SINANJU STEIN design, posing shooting while fighting with his friend. And don't forget there is also a new blue Bandai logo. On the side, you can see several poses from SINANJU STEIN that you might use as a reference pose and display. There are also any armaments that should be obtained in this box. Some small details that can be said to be the hallmark of mobile suit from Zeon, as well as some gimmicks. On the other hand, you can see a little story about this mobile suit in Japanese, and fortunately in English. We can also see the retail price of the Gunpla, which is 2,600 yen. There are also some hints and warnings such as not requiring glue and a recommended age limit. But who cares about age limit? Now let's talk about the details. This is the main unit of SINANJU STEIN. If you look at the part separation, you can say that it's very good. But it still takes a little effort so that the appearance you get is the same as the display on the box. On the head, I can also say that the details and part separation is very good. There is no miscolor. You can see the small pipe near the neck, magnificent. The difference between the narrative version of the SINANJU STEIN and the normal version is that it has a distinctive Zeon engraving on the chest and hands. This one of the things that make me love the mobile suit from Zeon. They are so beautiful. If you look at the details on this Gunpla in general, you can say that it's very minimal. But still, it cannot be denied that this Gunpla still has a cool design. However, these minimal details can actually be a place for us to be creative with our Gunpla, such as adding a new panel line. There is so much space that we can work on here. Now we pay attention to the details for the inner frame of the armor. On the shoulder, there are almost no additional details. At the bottom of the feet, yes, there is a very good detail with a separate part of the footwear. Very nice. There is no missing color in the legs, thanks to the good color separation of the part. However, it is unfortunate that the back of this ankle has no additional details. You can see the thruster hidden at the back of the leg, which is good. On the inside of the back skirt, there are details obtained from different parts. Nice. But unfortunately, on the inside of the front skirt, it only consists of one part, and there are no additional details in it. At the bottom of the crotch, there's a hole like the high-grade Gunpla in general as a place to attach the action base. Although this Gunpla lacks detail, I never get tired of looking at it. The design on each part are very integrated and show the beauty of a mighty mobile suit. You won't be sorry if you buy this Gunpla because just from its appearance it can make you have an eye orgasm, even though it's only high grade. Okay, that is the main unit of SINANJU STEIN. For the missing color of a Gunpla, we can see how many stickers we get. In this Gunpla, I got a pieces of sticker foil to use for engraving on the chest and hands. Well, this is high grade for you. Even the Master Grade SINANJU parts in the engraving section still have a missing color. And this is the backpack. Still the same as the main body, lack of details on the outside. For the fuel tank, it's still like its predecessor Gunpla, SINANJU. It has a seam line, even though it's not really visible to the eye. I also got a bazooka in the same shape as the bazooka SINANJU. The barrel of the bazooka is immovable, but it has to be exchanged for a shorter version, like this one. For the details of this bazooka itself, very good. And this is the rifle, really big, really good. You can combine the bazooka with the rifle like this. If it's combined, the name become Bazofel. No, I'm just kidding. Next is the shield. Nothing special. The color separation is clearly good. There's a part for details on the inside and a part for putting the shield in the hand. You also can put this part on the shield and it looks like a gun shield. You can also place this part at the bottom of the beam rifle as a substitute for the bazooka. And for the bazooka, even though it has a match on the connector, you cannot just put the bazooka on the shield. There needs to be an adjustment in this section because it's prevent the bazooka from attaching to the shield. I will do it sometime. For the hand manipulator, you get a pair of closed fists, an open left fist, two fists to hold the beam saber, and a hand to hold the rifle. But it was a pity that the open fist was not equipped with its own armor, so it had to exchange with one of the other hand armors. I also got some unused spare parts that should be used on high-grade Sinanju, so you don't get confused if you get the leftover parts on some Gunpla. Now let's check the articulation. The joint on the head is a ball joint, so it can be tilted like this, moving up and down like this, and rotate like this. It cannot be rotated 360 degrees because the collar armor blocks articulation a bit. The arm that can be raised so far is limited by the shoulder armor. The arm can still be lifted upward by turning it. Not too much back and forth articulation of the shoulder. The small shoulder armor moves like this. The arm can be bent like this. It's the same, it can be fully bent. The arm can be rotated 360 degrees without problem. The beam saber can be found by opening this part. For the articulation of the torso is 1 point only, and the range of articulation is also very limited. The side skirt can be moved like this, as well as the front and rear skirts, which is a bit of surprise, as there is rarely a Gunpla with the articulation of the rear skirt. For the legs can be raised this far. And the legs can be bent just like this. The same as the articulation on an arm that could not be fully bent because it was blocked by the armor. It's the same on Gunpla with such a charming design. For shotway foot movement is limited to this because the joint in the foot is a ball joint. The shape of this joint is exactly the same as the joint on the high-grade Sinanju. You could say that all of the articulation are still based on high-grade Sinanju. Don't imitate this Bandai laziness. The foot can be rotated 360 degrees without any problem. The bolster on the leg just has this articulation. You cannot tilt the bolster on the leg because the joint is just like this. The backward movement of the ankle is good, but not much for the forward movement. You can also tilt the feet like this. Now for the articulation on the backpack. You can move the fuel tank because the joint is a ball joint. The booster has 2 points of articulation, and when viewed from the female pack, it doesn't matter if the right and left booster swap place. That's all the articulation on the backpack. You cannot move the other part. Now let's install this backpack in the main unit. In the attached position, the backpack is locked in this position. You cannot turn it, which is good. In the weapon itself, there are not many gimmicks. There are only gimmicks on the exchange of the bottom of the rifle, as I demonstrated earlier. Likewise, the bazooka, to change its length, must change the barrel part. For the shield, that's all. It can only be rotated on the part that connect by hand. The shield connection by hand is a type of clamp like this. So if you have a plan to paint, be careful when installing and removing the shield because it has the potential to scratch the paint. We also attach the weapon to the main unit. This Gunpla is not equipped with an action base. This is not a problem because basically this Gunpla can stand firmly without using an action base. But if you want to display with a slightly extreme pose, I suggest you keep using the action base, which is sold separately. Indeed, there is no perfect Gunpla. Like this, for example, there is still a seam line on the head, even though Bandai could have made this part without a seam line. Then on the fuel tank, on the hand engraving, then on the additional small part on the weapons, and finally the seam line along the bazooka. Amazing. The point that is the main advantage of this Gunpla is the very charming mobile suit design. Almost every mobile suit from Zeon has an extraordinary beautiful design. If you like beauty, you must have this Gunpla. But if you are a fan of Gunpla with extreme articulation, you need to think again about buying it. In addition, there are still some seam lines that need to be removed, and coloring on the engraving is quite a tedious additional job. But if you are satisfied enough with using stickers, it means that is not a big problem for you. The details are not that great, but that is precisely what is interesting for me personally, because there's enough room to be a creative. So how about you? Interested in buying this Gunpla? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like if you want to watch another Gunpla review from me. Feel free to comment or request any video related to Gunpla. Goodbye. Alice greetings.